Hey everybody, welcome to Super Dope Plus Ultra. I'm Kelly. I'm here with Kyle. Hi,
Hello,
Kyle.
Kelly. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
Shit. I forgot. Plus Ultra. Plus Ultra!
Plus Ultra.
Committing
Whatever.
to it. We're sticking to it. Plus
We'll
Ultra.
get to it for episode 101.
Yeah. Well, this is episode 100, so it's very much a practice run because episode
Yes.
100, who cares about that?
Yeah, it's just the centennial episode. No
Is
big
that what
deal.
that's called? Centennial? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then bicentennial, that's two of those things that you just said.
Yeah.
Centennial. Got it.
I read a book that was called The 100-Year-Old Man Who Disappeared Out the Window and Went on Adventures or something like that. That's not the title. But they just refer to him as the centennial all the time. And for that one reason, I want to live to be 100.
So that way you can jump out the window and go on some adventures.
Yeah, and so that people can call me the centennial.
Cool. All right. Something to aspire to. Well, we
Nice.
just reached the centennial episode of Boku no Hero Academia. So
Yes.
we had our hate boners out in full force last week.
Yeah, they
and,
were hard.
Yeah, you were ready to walk it back when we jumped on and started talking about what the show is going to be about this week. You're feeling a
Yes.
little remorseful about all the
I
vitriol and hate from last week.
Okay, this is my
Yeah, go
formal
ahead.
apology.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm so sorry that I judged this book by its cover, okay? The clip looked lame, I'm not gonna lie. But I can admit when I'm wrong sometimes. It happens very rarely. And in this instance, I was incorrect. This episode had a little sprinkling of everything I've ever liked, like a nice Parmesan on a plate of spaghetti.
All right,
So-
cool. Now you're making me hungry for spaghetti, but
Nice.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of haven't listened to what we did last week, but I don't remember your hate being so much directed at the preview for this week.
It wasn't so
The
much.
hate
no.
was definitely spread out across the last 11 episodes of
It
bullshit.
was.
They did a nice job for this 100th episode today of doing exactly what I was bitching about last week, giving us a little bit of different pieces of the world that make this world interesting.
Yeah.
We get to see a little bit of Eerie. We get to see a little bit more of the class. We get to see what's up with Mirio. We get to see what's up with Aizawa's got something fishy going on there. I don't think
Mhm.
I didn't notice. We weren't just like pigeonholed into like this 20-minute fight that, you know, is sandwiched by a recap of last week's fight and, you know, a preview for next week's fight.
Mm.
So
It definitely was a nice refresh.
they did a nice job with this one, but I will say, you walk back your hate and vitriol. I will not do that. I have nothing but hate and vitriol for everything, but this episode was pretty good.
This episode was wicked good. I loved it. Starts off strong with Shinso, who's
Episode, what the hell is it called? The New
Oh.
Power and All for One.
yes, the new power and all for one. Right,
Episode
right.
100.
100, baby. Is that how they say it?
That's how we say it now, I guess. Go ahead.
Nice. It starts off awesome with Shinso, right? Who, you know, I have like a thing. I like Shinso. And he's like, I'm going to be even better and I'm going to work even harder and I'm going to be a hero forever. Yeah. Those little scarves, like looking up at the sky. I'm like, all right, like starting strong for me anyway. I was
Cool,
into
man.
it.
Being contemplative about your past performance and wondering how you can improve and how it's going to
Yeah.
motivate you to be even stronger the next time around.
Absolutely.
Word, you purple-haired bastard. I love you.
And then Midoriya is like, oh my god, Shinso, like, I thought your power shined in the first episode, but you're so great, and I can't wait to fight against you. That's my imitation of Midoriya.
I feel like
That's
that's
how
your
he
imitation of everybody, but yes, continue.
Is it?
Pretty much, like, basically you use the same voice for Shinso that you did Deku, yeah.
Did I? Maybe I should stop doing that then. I'll work on it.
You just gotta, like, develop different, distinct voices for each respective character if you're gonna be doing these recaps the way you're doing them. So
Mm,
my
that's
advice
true.
would be, like, a little bit gruffer, lower for the Shinso stuff. So that way, when you do the high, more
Midoriya
higher-pitched
one.
Deku, it'll be a little bit more discernible. People can tell that you've switched from character to character. So
all right.
if you want to take
Thank
it
you
again
for
from the
notes.
top, go for it.
Oh, I mean, I really don't. I don't think I could top that performance. So I have to work on it at home. You know,
Get the
do
goddamn out of my acting
do
class.
some red leather, yellow leather. You know,
Purple bubble baby bumpers. I can't even say it. In
what is it?
baby
What was
buggy
that?
bump. Who gives a shit? Words are meaningless at this point. Anyway,
I've never heard that in my life.
purple bumper baby bump. You never heard that one?
No.
Buggy baby bumpers or something? It's another
No.
word.
I've only heard the red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Diction is done with the tip of the tongue and the teeth.
Diction is done with the tip of the tongue and the teeth. Diction
Yes.
is done with the tip of the tongue and the teeth.
Yeah,
I like
that one's a fun one. That's a vocal exercise. Well, I guess it's really more of a diction exercise that we used to do for one of those nerdy singing choir groups I was in for a long time.
Okay. I don't remember how we get to this point, but Midoriya's like thinking about Monoma, and he has that flashback again of him being like ripped to shreds if he had used his power. And we get a flashback to when he first gets it from All Might. It's the first time we've seen All Might like all buff, because it's the flashback, in a really long time. And it kind of made me a little sad. I feel like, I was sort of like, I should have appreciated All Might when he was like almighty. Now
You took him for granted.
Skinny mini. I did. So I feel bad about that. Sorry, All Might.
And
it was your birthday the other day, so sorry about that too.
June 10th, we love you, buddy. I almost released the Goku Superman All Might episode on this feed just to like celebrate the day or whatever, but maybe we'll just, maybe next year's timing will line up a little bit better for us to do an All Might birthday episode. Who knows?
Yeah.
I do like the fact that we saw quite a bit of All Might in this episode.
Yeah, we did. It was All Might heavy. I feel like we got to see a good amount of all of the main people again, which is what I liked.
Yeah, Bakugo had some low-key early moments that were pretty impactful for me, but then he also has the last 5 minutes that we'll get to. But I do like the fact that we saw, not that All Might wasn't involved in this past 1B, 1A training arc. He was there on the sidelines, but he plays like a pretty pivotal, I guess I'll say pivotal. Pivotal makes it sound like he did something super important in this episode. I don't know that he did.
Think of synonyms for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
prominent?
very prominent. Good word. Yo, your name Thesaurus?
I mean, I did well in my English SATs, so.
What the hell's an SAT?
What?
You mean STD?
No, I don't mean that. The high school tests that you take, your SATs. You really have no
The
idea
only
what I'm
tests
talking
in high
about?
school were STD tests.
I think we were living different kinds of high school experiences, because I definitely didn't have those in high school. It was after that. That's when I was in my hoe phase.
Jesus, Kelly.
Oh, you brought it up.
I know, but I was kidding. You just brought some reality to it.
Oh, well, I don't care. It's the truth. It's been a while. Everybody has a past. Whatever.
SAT, STD, moving on.
Anyway, Shinso is going to be joining for sure next year, right? Woohoo, that's awesome. Monoma didn't get ripped to pieces. That's awesome. And Aizawa is like, yo, Monoma, come visit Eri, because I got a job for you.
Hit pause. You said, thank God Monoma didn't get ripped to shreds. I disagree. But yes,
we've always been opposites, Kyle.
Yes, that's why this works. But yeah, he's going to have Aizawa asks Monoma to come visit Eri tomorrow. And
yes.
I was telling you before we hit record, I've been reading the chapters that each episode covers as I'm watching them now. And getting back to something I kind of talked about last week, like the pacing and how chapters will translate to an episode of the anime.
Mm-hmm.
The first minute and a half of this episode is a recap from last week. Then it's the theme song. And then it's 2.5 minutes that give you, we've talked about the first 2.5 minutes of this episode.
Yeah.
The critique part of it, and Aizawa asking Monoma to come visit Eri. And that's an entire chapter right there. Like,
yeah.
They end you with the cliffhanger of, oh, come visit Eri. And it's like, check back in next week, which, again, much different format than what I do with Dragon Ball manga these days. But I just think it's interesting, like, how many chapters they burn through to make an episode. This is probably like 5 or 6 chapters again this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Easily. The other thing, too, is that when you do things frame by frame, like, sometimes the pictures are bigger and they take up a bigger part of the chapter. So then the chapter doesn't really include that much because it's got, like, bigger pictures in them to show more details. Like, they're always...
Yeah, another thing I noticed about the chapters, though, are the way in which they do flashbacks is very economical. Like, I imagine Horikoshi he like blacks out specific panels for like memories that Deku's having within a moment of a fight. So it'll be a black panel, and it'll be like 5 or 6 other panels like kind of scattered in throughout them, but they're obviously just ripped from previous pages of the manga. So he could save himself quite a bit of time if he's got a flashback heavy chapter if he wanted to. This chapter had some of that.
Yeah, a bit. The only cute thing that happens right there is we see Eri and she's making letters. She's writing letters.
Because she's bad at saying things out loud.
Oh my God, stop it. I was like, you are so adorable, and I want to read your letters. I hope that they're cute.
Yeah, all
How
she's
old
saying.
do you think she is?
I'd guess like 6,
You think so?
6, 7 years old, probably somewhere in there. What were you thinking?
I wasn't sure, because she's writing, and he's like, oh, you can write now. And I was like, how old are kids when they can write letters? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to think about the contents of the letters. I just think it's adorable that Lemillion asks her, like, who are you writing letters to? I'm writing them to you.
Cute.
So I can say thank you, because I can't say thank you to you out loud. And I'm just like, oh, but you just kind of did.
This will be Midoriya's second thank you letter.
Oh, yeah, he got one. It was a thank you / apology letter from Koda for, thank you for saving me. Sorry for kicking you in the dick.
Cute.
Koda.
He's gonna
Gotta
have a
love that
collection.
boy. Oh, I mean, he's probably going to start a scrapbook.
Oh, definitely. I would never throw it away. So then I'm assuming it's the next day, do you think? Or is it later on in that same day? It doesn't really say. That Midoriya and Bakugo end up doing some training. Do you think it's the same day?
Maybe later that evening.
Okay, that evening. Yeah, Bakugo is like trying to beat the shit out of Midoriya to get his new power to come out, right? And All Might's there to like supervise, and it's not going well because Midoriya is like, it won't come out, man. It just won't come out. I don't know. And Bakugo is like, because you're not scared enough. I just have to scare you even more. And I was like, whoa, this is not going great.
This scene was really cool because, I mean, it's the rivals training together in secret under the tutelage of All Might. I was thinking about it a little bit, like, what's cool about My Hero Academia, I don't know if I've ever said this before. I don't think that I have. I don't know if I've had this thought before today, but what's cool about My Hero Academia is that it's a world where superhero society is the status quo. Like, you're a weirdo if you don't have a superpower, and everybody is, well aware of everyone else's capabilities and powers or whatever. But somehow they've managed to take that world and still manage to work in the device of a secret identity through way of One for All and Deku's power and his relationship with All Might, and the way that he can't talk openly about what he's going through or what he's experiencing, what he's learning, what it's actually at stake in the greater world here.
Yes.
It's a weird reimagining of that trope, but it's done so goddamn well. And this scene is what made me realize it today. Like, they have to do this in secret. They can't know that Bakugo's here right now. Bakugo has to play ignorant, even though he's in on the secret. But I do love that All Might has kind of made the effort to continue to, make Bakugo feel included in this whole superhero journey.
I feel like somebody has to train, against Deku, and he can't do it. All Might can't be the one who fights Deku in this like battle training. They need someone to.
You don't think,
why not?
You don't think Skeletor can throw hands?
Snap like a twig. I did like that they included Bakugo in their little meeting. So we get to see they were all in the teacher's lounge. Is that where they have tea? And that's where they normally chill. And Bakugo was like, yo, you guys always meet up in here? Like, nice
the
secret.
Teacher's lounge of all places.
Yeah, like nice little secret base. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they get to chat about this new power. And I thought it was pretty interesting that Bakugo's like, yo, All Might, did you know that this was going to possibly happen? And he's like, I've never heard of this. Nana never said anything about this. And Bakugo's like, did something in particular trigger it? And Midoriya says no, but I kind of feel like, in a way, sort of, because he had said, like, I want to catch that guy, and he'd been really mad. But he's like, no, nothing in particular. But he said the time is ripe. So maybe it's something external. And Bakugo says, what does he say? He's like, oh, this could have been something to do with All for One because this power came from All for One. And Kyle, when I tell you that I almost had a stroke because I kind of forgot that this power was given to the brother from All for One. Like, I mean, I knew this technically, but I forgot. Like, I just had been going on this assumption that he had always just had this power, and they had just been brothers that had like opposite kinds of powers. I forgot that All for One gave this power to his brother.
So
That was like such a punch in the gut for me. I completely forgot about that.
yeah, his brother's born without a quirk, and that's the quirk that he's bestowed upon him. But he kind of does it like almost mockingly, I feel.
Yeah, and forcefully.
I haven't watched that in a minute, but I feel like he gives it to him with the understanding that, good luck piling up power with this stockpiling quirk is something we'll talk about in a second with Monoma. But basically, good luck accumulating power is kind of like the message he instills in him as he gives it to him.
I completely spaced on that. And then I was like, oh shit. I don't know. I wonder if that has like other implications. And I think that definitely sits funny with Midoriya, because even though he doesn't mention it until way later, you kind of get the feeling that maybe it's not really sitting with him right that this power came from All for One. Like, did you get that kind of vibe too? Like later on in the episode, he says something where he's like, yeah, even if this was from All for One, like I'll make this power mine. I'll make this power my ally, which made me think that maybe he had been kind of feeling weird about it.
No, I took that line specifically more as like, I know that I have a lot to, learn to manage or work on or whatever to be able to fully wield the capabilities of this power. What I do think is interesting though is that Bakugo's the one who I think All Might follows it up with like, oh, you said what I
said something.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it out loud, but you beat me to the punch. Something must be going on with All for One. So with what you just said too, with the fact that All for One gave his brother this initial quirk and it's since been built up to what it is that we're seeing going on in Deku, Shigaraki and Deku have like some of the more obvious parallels when you look at the series as a whole, but we haven't seen him in a while.
Long time.
I think the last time we saw him, he like rotted off Overhaul's hands on the highway.
I think so too.
Which was dope as fuck.
It was wicked cool.
So, and I don't know if this is something that you would know from the manga or not, but if he could pass on that initial quirk to his brother, what's to stop him from passing on the power of All for One to his own respective Deku and Tomura Shigaraki, so that way he can continue his fight for him? Is that maybe something? I don't know. I don't want you to spoil it, I guess, but
so you mean like the same power that Deku has?
Not exactly the same power that Deku has, but like the ability to take and redistribute quirks in the same way that All for One does.
I'm not going to say anything in particular, but I mean, the fact that he can pass a power on to one person would suggest that he could pass power on to other people.
Oh, I'm on to some shit. I'm on to some shit. I got you.
Yeah, that's definitely something that could come up later on.
Super Dope Plus Ultra Conspiracy Theory Hour with the guy who doesn't know how to read comic books. Word.
Nice, you're working on it.
Hey, I'm learning. I got to sound out the words.
I haven't read the manga in so long. I have to catch up.
I was looking at the numbers today. I'm at around like 217 or something like that, and there's like 100 more chapters. So.
Oh my god, easily. Yeah.
They're pretty quick reads, but not if you sit there and look at. There's a lot within those panels that.
Oh yeah,
the show really fleshes it out, man. I love it
for sure. So, Midoriya kind of comes to the conclusion that this power reacts to his feelings, and he had decided that he wasn't ready for this new quirk, and so that's why it won't activate. So he's like, I think that I kind of locked it away until I feel ready, and until I can unlock it again, it's just not going to come out. So Bakugo's like, well, this is a waste of my time then, so see you later. And they call it quits. And then this part's like my favorite. I don't know why I love this part so much, but they go back to the common room, and Class 1A and Class 1B are like all hanging out together. And this just gave me so much serotonin. Like I was like, I needed this boost today. Tetsu, and Kirishima are like arguing over who's the strongest. And they're like, we're both strong in our own way, bro. And Ida is cooking beef stew, and Mina has Mineta strapped to like the TV for like some weird like reprogramming, whatever that's going on. It's just like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was so into this. I cannot even tell you. I might watch this episode again. Just
one
for
thing
this
I
one part.
noticed from this scene when he comes back to the dorm is at the table is Mushroom Girl, whose name I cannot remember.
Kumi, something like that.
Sounds about right.
Right? Yeah.
We'll say Kumi. She's like sitting very close next to Fumikage Tokayami. Oh my god, I had to say his first name first. That was weird. She's sitting very close next to Tokayami and like kind of just giving him the eyes, or what I imagine would be the eyes if they weren't covered up by her bangs. And then the other, the other sad dark boy emo kid in the corner,
the
Kuroiru
yes.
is like sitting up against the wall, like watching her watch him and looking really sad about it. And I was like, "Aw, that
Teenage
poor little 10th grader. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. His feelings are all bungled up."
Ugh. Do you remember what it was like to be that age? Gross.
10th grade, I kind of remember. Yeah, I kind of remember
Everything was so dramatic. Like,
oh,
the end of the world.
I was just drunk a lot.
Oh my god, really?
Yep. Senior year, that's when I had to be not drunk so I could get out of high school within 4 years and not be on the 5-year plan.
Terrible.
Yeah, that was a really fun time. I was a good time to be around. If you wanted to like get drunk in a cemetery and pass out in the woods.
Sounds fun. You know, I didn't do any of that kind of stuff until after I turned 18.
And then what happened, Kelly? You went bananas.
I did go bananas. I had some crazy times. Another part that happens here that I think is so funny is that Todoroki kind of like pulls Midoriya aside, right? He's like, "Midoriya, like, I didn't know you had 2 quirks." And then I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he has like ice and fire," which is, again, this episode, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's wicked uncommon to have 2 such distinct separate things." And he's like, Midoriya's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't keeping this from you. Like, this is the same quirk, just manifested in a different way."
Yeah.
That is not fooling anyone, okay? But Todoroki is so gullible. He, like, eats that up. And Bakugo is he's, like, listening because, he's just got to be, like, involved in everything. And he's like, "Yo, Todoroki, you are, like, sharp and thick as fuck at the same time." Because you notice something was up, and then as soon as he says the littlest excuse, you're just buying it so easy. How gullible, poor thing.
So, like, I actually wrote this down. Deku's really good at lying on his feet. And this is
real quick.
This is like a new thing that he hasn't had to do a ton of because he hasn't had.
He's been asking him questions.
Yeah, well, now everyone's going to be asking him, like, what the fuck was that? As opposed to, like, what's wrong with you? Why do you break your fingers whenever you use your quirk? You should probably get that under control. He's passed those questions a long time ago. That was pretty much the only variation of the question he got back then. Now it's like, what the hell is this? And he doesn't know what to tell them.
I know, he's like, "It's the same quirk, just manifested in a different way." Like, no, they're nothing alike. I don't think many people are going to buy that, so.
Hey, man, he's got time to figure out the perfect lie. So give him a boy some time, even though he's a crybaby who breaks all of his fingers and...
he doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah, good point. Maybe he's not a crybaby anymore either, which means maybe he's better at lying.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. Oh my god, this part was so funny too. Like, I feel like this episode was kind of jumpy all over the place, but that's part of what I liked about it. Shoto's thinking about how he has to like get stronger and work on his quirks and stuff. So we get this little flash that he had sent a text to his dad. Endeavor is over there having like the time of his life, getting a text message from his son asking about his fire quirk, which is like the only thing he's good at. Don't ask him about parenting because he sucks at that. And while it's happening, he's just like so souped. He's literally like killing this guy. He's got his hand over his mouth and the guy cannot breathe and he's like trying to tap out. He's like, "Hello, help me."
Holding him by the face, texting his kid back. Yeah. "Sure, son. That'd be great."
Proud dad moment. Yeah. I was like, "All right, Endeavor, you get."
And that's a nice payoff. Like, I don't feel like we saw enough Endeavor, especially given his status now in this world as the #1 hero. Like, we haven't seen a ton of him since the first episode, really, of this season. But at some point, they do flash over to him in the last 11, 12 episodes where he just wants Shoto to text him back, and he hasn't texted him back at all, and he's very heartbroken about it. So to see the payoff of him feeling real happy about it,
yeah, getting a text,
and his Shoto sickness subsiding.
Yes, I feel like it's on the mend.
Very satisfying.
That was really funny. What happens next is all the teachers come together to have a meeting about Shinso, right?
Right.
And they have like a projector widescreen going on of like Shinso highlights. I was like, who put this together? Okay, definitely Aizawa.
Exactly. You know exactly who put it together. His fucking dad.
Okay. And did you notice that the desk they sit at is like a giant U? Is that like UA? Do you think?
Maybe. I don't know if it's a U on purpose or if that's just how like a presentation setup would be in a business room in Japan or something. I don't know.
I thought it was strange.
I've sat in. I'm trying to think if I've sat in U's. I've definitely sat in like square conference rooms where it's like two long tables, two short tables, and sometimes there's like a projector or something, or like a TV in the middle of it or something. But maybe the U is a little bit more of a tested and true design because you don't have to like move a table to get the fuck in the middle of everyone.
That's true. You can like strut up and down it. Yeah.
Like a runway, but without the runway though.
That's true. I was like, yeah, did they do this for UA? Like,
yeah, I think maybe you're just you're seeing things that
I might be. I was just like, why are you guys all sitting in the dark watching like a big screen of one of your students? I felt like the whole thing was vaguely creepy. Right? I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, but it's automatically less creepy because they've got Principal Nezu there and he's a bear or a rabbit or a mouse or some such shit.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck he is.
I don't think he knows either.
I don't think he knows, yeah. I think he must be a mouse. Maybe. He eats a lot of cheese, doesn't he?
Cheese it?
Oh, no. This is what I think you were talking about earlier about Aizawa. So Aizawa puts in all this work for this presentation just for everyone to be like, yeah, like we're going to put him in the class. Like this was already decided. Now you get to take your, highlights of Shinso movie home or whatever the heck you're going to do with it.
Why'd you spend so much time on the clip reel, bro? We just watched him do this in person.
Yeah, it's got some nice shots of him in here, okay? And so when they're on their way out, President Mike is like, oh, like Aizawa, like, why are you putting all this work in for Shinso? Like, does he remind you of yourself? Like, what's going on? And then he mentions someone. He's like, oh, is this about, I am going to try to pronounce this, Shirakumo? It's like, is this about Shirakumo? And I have a question for you because I cannot remember properly, but has this person ever been mentioned in the anime?
Nope. That's why I wrote the name down. Unless this person's been mentioned in the anime by a different name, which I don't think is the case. Because whenever I think of a girl maybe shacking up with Aizawa, first I go to Miss Joke.
Miss Joke for sure.
Yeah,
I think they're cute together.
I don't think we've ever learned her real name, but I assume this is a woman's name, and I assume maybe it's is it Shinso's mom? Maybe Shinso's mom and Aizawa, if they weren't hooking up or something, maybe they knew each other back in the day. Maybe something bad happened to her. Who knows?
Perhaps. I don't think this is necessarily a spoiler, but I know who this person is. So we will find out more about it.
You bitch. All right. Keep it to yourself.
That's why I had to ask. I was like, has this been mentioned before? I can't recall.
Definitely the first time. I feel like they've dropped a couple of hints about not just this person, but other things that might be coming to pass in this world at a certain point in this episode.
I think one thing in particular comes up later, and I'll make sure I mention it because I think they did it on purpose. But so we're like, what's going on with that? And Aizawa's basically like, you got something to say it quick because I'm busy. Okay. I'm like, all right. Like, touched a nerve, obviously.
Badass. He can't waste his time like that.
No, not at all. So we're hopping over to the next day, I believe, because Monoma comes to see Eri. And she is so funny when she sees him. She's like, yo, it's the bad guy of UA. It's the dark side or whatever she says. And
it's the bad guy.
Oh no, what are you doing here? Oh my God, hilarious. I'm like, you're so cute. And he takes it so well too. He's like, the bad guy? Me? Never. Ha 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 ha. All dramatic.
Kelly, your Monoma hand game is on point, dude. Yo, go check out the YouTube. Link in the show notes. Check out Helly's Monoma hand game. Wow.
I haven't been practicing that.
That's
or
some
anything.
Shakespeare shit you got going on. Good job.
To be or not to be?
I'm not to be the bad guy of UA.
Question.
I'm
Yeah,
not to
'cause
be the
he's like,
question.
He's like, I'm on the path to greatness, or whatever the heck he says. He's all dramatic, you know.
We're on the path to greatness.
I'm in the light. Come into the light. But the long and the short of it is that Aizawa just wanted him to try to copy Erie's quirk to see if they could kind of learn more about it, and if Monoma could then teach Erie how to use it, because right now it seems like it's pretty dangerous to try to, you know, experiment with, because who knows, she could, I don't know if you guys remember, but like when they first mentioned Erie a few seasons ago, she like erased her dad all the way back to non-existence or whatever, like rewind him to just not even being here anymore. So it's kind of seems a little dangerous to try to teach her. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. He gets a horn, which I think is really funny. Loved that, not gonna lie. But he says it's a blank. And so Midoriya, asking the good questions, he's like, what does that mean exactly? Because I've heard you mention it a couple of times and I got some questions. And we get to learn a bit more about what that means. He says that a blank is for when there's a stockpiling quirk. And I was like, ooh, this is on the nose. And he uses a good example. I think Midoriya is the one who uses this example with Fat Gum, about how technically Monoma could copy Fat Gum's quirk, but because he hasn't stockpiled all of the fat that, you know, Fat Gum has over all this time, it wouldn't work because he's still skinny. So anything that you have to accumulate in order to use doesn't really work well because he doesn't copy the accumulated amount of power.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a blank.
Just the nature of the quirk, not the accumulated power that comes with it.
Yes. I thought that was a good example because I was like, what does that mean exactly? I don't understand.
I mean, if they had the ability to talk openly about one for all, fuck, did it again. If they had the ability to talk openly about one for all, that also would be a really good like it's the example of a stockpiling quirk. But Fat Gum's quirk definitely is a nice substitute to be able to explain it.
Yes, a nice visual too, because it's like very opposite. Like obviously, Fat Gum's fat and Monoma is skinny. Like
plus, in that example, like they slide skinny ass Monoma in his stupid tuxedo in, and like Fat Gum takes a missile off his stomach, and then it hits the same missile hits Monoma, and he just poo.
Bye.
Beauty.
I know, it was nice. Okay, and so then two things happen here. One that I think is super cute, and one that is so infuriating to me that I actually am gonna like get into it. So
all right, let it go.
Poor Erie is like, I'm so sorry, I'm like causing so much trouble. Like, I wish I didn't even have this power. Oh, stop it. Like, no trouble at all, you angel. And Midoriya is like, don't even think like that. Like, it's all about how you use it. You used it. You saved my life. Okay. That was the cute part. Here is the terrible part.
Uh-oh.
Midoriya gives the stupidest metaphor I've ever heard in my life, and it just doesn't even make sense, okay?
The knife thing?
He says, I'm gonna go in on this, okay?
Okay.
He goes, think of knives, okay? The sharper the knife, the more delicious the food. No, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay, a sharp knife doesn't make the food. Kyle, did you know that I went to culinary school?
News to me, but
okay.
All right, go in.
I'm technically a certified chef. I took an entire course on knife skills, okay? The reason why you want to use a really sharp knife when you're cooking is because you're less likely to make mistakes with a sharp knife, because a dull knife will not cut through properly and will wiggle around and you can hurt yourself, okay? You can have a sharp knife. You can have the sharpest knife you've ever met in your life. But you could have the sharpest knife ever. And if you cannot cook, the food's still going to be shitty. It has nothing to do with the sharp knife. Like, you can make delicious food with a dull knife. This metaphor makes no sense. It's so frustrating to me. I cannot stand it.
I wonder if it's a metaphor that got lost in translation.
Did it? Like,
I don't know.
The sharper the knife, the more delicious the food. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bear in mind, he's also explaining it to like a 6-year-old. So like when I think
Why are you using knives?
all right, I don't know. The first thing that he's a 15-year-old kid. He's not perfect. Leave him alone. Leave my poor fucking boy Deku alone.
So annoying.
Maybe it had something to do, originally speaking, obviously this is not the translation that we got. Caleb Cook, I'm looking at you. But I think maybe they meant something more along the lines of, perfect cut of meat or something like that. Like you need to cut things evenly and thinly but I don't care. I'm talking to a culinary girl, so I'll just give up while I'm ahead before I continue to dig.
No.
This grave. Bad metaphor, Kelly. I'm mad with you.
It's a bad metaphor.
I'm so mad.
Stupid.
I fucking hate this show. Got it.
Me too. I was like, wow, this was the dumbest thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth, Midoriya. And you've said some stupid things. So
has he said stupider things?
I don't think he said stupider things, maybe. I don't think so. I think this was the dumbest. I really do.
Yeah, I'm coming up short on some stupider shit.
I can't think of anything dumber. I really can't.
Hate this goddamn show.
Anyway.
That was a very exaggerated breath. Sigh. Exhale.
I don't know why. It literally boiled my blood. I was like, that's not
I think
right.
that's your student debt talking.
That was really, really dumb. Yeah, I mean, I got a nice knife set out of it, so.
Like as a graduation parting gift.
I got to keep my knives.
Here's $100,000 in student loan debt for JWoo, probably, right? Here's
a really
nice
set. Peeler and a nice wine corker. Yeah.
Jesus. I went to get a culinary degree and all I got was a shitty peeler and a wine corker.
Seriously,
Dude,
though.
I'm so mad for you. I understand why you're mad at Deku now.
Yeah, it was dumb. It brought up a lot of things I'd rather leave behind.
All right, word. Moving on.
Anyway. Then, like, this is what I mean when I say this episode's, like, so disjointed, because then all of a sudden it's like, woohoo, it's a snow day! Like, what? So random.
Random filler chapter where they just wanted to, like, have an excuse to have the kids make snowmen.
Yeah, seriously. And Kirishima's, like, whipping off his shirt. I'm like, what is this? This is, like, the strangest thing I've ever seen.
You never knew an asshole who would immediately bust his shirt off whenever it snowed?
No.
Man, you got cooler fucking friends than I got.
I just don't have friends.
Good burn. Good self-burn.
That's why I don't know anyone like that. But a cute thing we got to see is that, oh, little Froppy, Sue, she, like, froze. Oh, stop it.
She don't do so well in the cold. That was adorable.
I know, right? And, everyone's like, oh, where's Bakugo? Where's Todoroki? Oh, that's right. They got to get their licenses. Totally forgot about that plot point. Glad they're roping that back in.
That's another one that, like, kind of, I don't know, like, kind of just floated out there for so long that totally forgot about it. But, like, it's another valid point to this world or this story grand scheme of things. Because I remember when we did stuff back, it was last season, right? The balls and all that. Me and you did that maybe? Or was it me and Feds?
That might have just been from when we did the recaps.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I covered that episode. Was it the end of season 3?
I think it was season 3.
Yeah, that would actually make sense
because that's why they weren't doing any of
the.
Yeah, that's why they weren't doing any of that.
The point I made back then, whatever podcast I did it on Patreon or otherwise, was it was really smart of them to not give Bakugo and Todoroki their license from a storytelling perspective, because they're so OP as students. They rival not top heroes, but they rival heroes in the pro world already. Like that dude Slide and Go who shows
Slide and Go.
What a stupid, weird, pervy fucking name that is. We'll get there, but
yeah, it was.
Like they're more powerful than that clown shoes. You think that guy was going to be able to take on those bandits at the end of this? No way. No. It was amazingly brilliant to take away the ability for them to interact with what was about to happen next with the overhaul arc, because imagine how much different that would have been if Todoroki and Bakugo were there over like Achako and Froppy. Yeah.
Right, and Kirishima. And I liked that we got to really focus on them. It made them more prominent characters in the show, too.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I mean, it kind of gives them a little bit of an obstacle to overcome for the first time pretty much in their careers or academic careers or however you want to look at it. Bakugo and Todoroki have had a pretty easy walk through everything that they've had to do in this world in order to go up this career path to being a pro hero, until it comes to getting their provisional licenses, which for the sake of storytelling, made things a lot more interesting for us, the viewers.
Definitely. And Denki is like, oh man, the one thing I've ever beat either of them at is getting my license, and they didn't.
Petty Nari.
Aw, and then Shoji, because I love him, is like, it's okay. You have lots of other great, unique qualities too.
Yeah,
It's like,
Shoji's
stop
got to
it.
say
You're
shit like
adorable.
that because he's ugly and has like 6
So
arms with some
what?
wings.
So cute, though. His personality. Now, I have a question. We get a little quick shot of the people who are taking their licenses, and it's like Todoroki and Bakugo, and then those other two people.
Kami, Yaoroshi,
Kami.
and a green person.
Who was that green person?
I don't know. I didn't recognize who that person
They
was.
just threw
either.
that in, I think. That person was not there before. Like, when we had that whole episode where they had to, like, take care of the kids and stuff, like, that person was not there.
Maybe,
I feel like they forgot.
I mean, they could have just been like, yo, all the failures from this set of tests this week, you all come and take this test at the end of the semester or whatever. And that
I
person
guess.
was in a different class or test
They
or
just
whatever.
also looked so different from everyone else. Like, it was such a strange shot.
Looked like Green Man almost.
It was like an alien. I don't know.
I'm taking it as Green Man, but okay.
I think it was an alien. Anyway, long story short, like, we don't get to see any of their actual fight or test or whatever they do.
It was cool to see Gang Orca show up and be like, what's up, you
Yeah.
lamos? You failure lamos.
Last time I have to see your stupid faces.
And then kick off the test for them. And like you see a bunch of like shadowy, big, scary, jacked figures in the distance.
Right.
And then it flashes to
we
the
don't
kids.
get to see any of it.
And I'm fine with it. I don't need to see any of it. If you wanted
Yeah.
to make a whole episode out of it, okay.
Would have been okay.
That would have been a dope filler episode. Not what you do for episode 100, but episode 101, episode 99, if you could figure it out on either side of that. That would have been a really cool, like, we need a break from everything that we just saw from the last 3 months sort of episode. Let it be about Todoroki and Bakugo getting their license. Have Yaoroshi and Kami be, because those two characters are, I won't say
they're kind of cool.
I won't say Yaoroshi's a favorite. Is it Yaoroshi or Yayaroshi?
I don't know.
It might be Yayaroshi, or I might be confusing it with another person's name. Either way, Kami's a pretty popular character.
Yeah, I think so.
Lots of people cosplay as her. It wouldn't have been bad to give us that test, but I'm fine with it. Like, I understand that they're going to pass it anyway. You don't have to show it to me. You could show it to me in 15 seconds and then show me the fruits of their labor.
Yes. So it's very like evident that they do get their licenses, because right afterwards we see, like, I thought it was like a tsunami. I'm like, yo, like, Japan's having a crisis, something's happening. But actually it's like a villain attack, right? And so all these villains have been like scoping out the area to steal purses. I was like, this is kind of like low key, but whatever.
Some petty shit. Petty
Yeah.
Nari's going to be joining that fucking gang.
Hey, make some money. And they're like, oh no, there's no heroes. And Bakugo and Todoroki, with their little licenses in hand, they're like, what are you talking about? You got a couple of heroes right here. Had this license for 30 minutes. I'm going to show you what it's, made out of. And they get to be heroes right away. Nice.
I love that fucking song so much.
It was wicked cool. Yeah, like, oh, the background music, the water's coming. You're like, oh man, what's gonna happen?
And it's cool,
Todoroki.
again, like we said before, like All Might is right in the middle of this
With
scene
them.
in a completely different capacity. Like, he's, still being Dad Might to his two, like, other son favorite ones who aren't Deku. Like, he's being Dad Might to Deku's two favorite classmates. Like, he had to drive them home from soccer practice or some shit.
Okay, yeah.
And then he pulls over. He decides that, well, Bakugo actually tells him, he's like, you can't fucking fight. You go
Yeah.
help with the evacuation or whatever.
Sit down.
And
shush.
Bakugo and Todoroki take care of things pretty handily. But there's one moment in there where I loved it so much. I grabbed a screenshot of it. I don't think I sent it to you. I might have just kept it for me. I don't know.
I'll have to look again.
as he's telling people to stay away from the battle, somebody freaks out and they're like, "Oh my God, it's All Might! Hey, wow, All Might!" And it made me really happy to see that, because it would have been really easy for people to either not recognize him, choose not to recognize him. He looks so much different. Everything that happened was on television, but who knows, dude? Like, you go from seeing All Might in his buff form like every day for 25 years to seeing the skeleton All Might one time on television. Maybe your memory of it didn't last very well, whatever. They instantly recognize him, and he's just as excited to see him again. Like, that made me happy for All Might.
Me too. I liked that too. Can you hear crows? For some reason, there's a crow outside. I have the window shut. I think it must just be really close to my house.
Yo, open your window and tell that crow to shut the fuck up.
Kyle.
Are you afraid of birds?
No, I'm not afraid of birds. I want to cultivate an army of crows. Okay?
Oh my God.
Crows are super smart. And if you're nice to them, they remember you. But if you're mean to them, they remember you and they tell the other crows. And I'm not trying to piss off any crows.
Gotta be fucking kidding me. I
want them to be my friends.
So you are proactively building...
Feeding them.
You're proactively feeding crows, dude?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Tell me this is part of the joke.
No, I saw an article about this little girl who was like feeding crows, and then the crows were giving her a present. And then I read another article about this woman who was feeding crows, and then she had like a seizure while in her driveway in the winter, and the crows saw her and they know her really well, so they started like cawing. No, they were cawing really loud and making a huge scene so that neighbors came out and saw her there and called 911. So I'm like, yo, I'm trying to be friendly with crows.
You can just be cool with your neighbors.
I'm also cool with my neighbors, I think.
Oh, all right. Playing both sides of the aisle. I see you.
Yeah, you know.
One side crows, the other side your fucking lowly human neighbors.
My neighbors are cool.
I can't
My neighbor
believe
2 years ago.
Feeding crows.
2 years ago, my neighbor had his 40th birthday party and had like a huge keg party in the backyard and did a keg stand. I was like, yo, you are the coolest neighbor I've ever had in my life.
Still feel that way about him when he's going to be celebrating like his 45th birthday party with a kegger?
I mean, why not? His name is Brian. Brian, if you ever listen to this, you're never gonna, but you're cool.
Hell yeah, Brian.
Hell yeah, Brian.
All my friends named Brian are pretty cool too.
Nice. I don't have any friends named Brian.
You just talked about him.
He's my neighbor. He's not my friend.
If he invited you to kegger, I think you guys are friends now.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought so too, but then I thought that was presumptuous.
Well, that was a long little tirade about crows and your fucking neighbor Brian, so...
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's all got to stay now because the crow sound has been happening throughout. So context for the listener. If you like what we're doing here on Super Dope Plus Ultra, My Hero Academia, Crows, Brian and shit, subscribe. Hit that like button wherever you are.
My bad about that.
YouTube like button. Don't dislike. If you dislike crows... Navigate away from this video right
Kyle,
now.
When I have an army of crows, you're gonna really
I'll never talk to you again. Yeah, I'll never talk to you again in fear that you will sick your army of crows on me. Yeah.
I want to use them for good.
We will part amicably so that way I know that you cannot use your crows for bad.
It's called a murder of crows, too.
Oh, dude, I knew that, but...
I also knew that.
You also just reminded me, and the fact that you had that fact so readily available off the top of your head does not give me very good feelings about your intentions with your murder of crows.
I want to be a superhero, Kyle.
Oh, so yeah.
Any way I can. I'll use them for good.
Okay, it's going to be like a Pigeon Man kind of scenario where you like tie them up to your jacket and they fly you away into the sun?
Maybe.
Or you can just send them to do your bidding while you stay at home. They're like, yo, what's up, crows? You guys go do the hero work this week.
They'll bring me back like notes and stuff, like steal things from the bad guys. Anyway.
Dude, you train your crows quite well. All right, moving on from your crows.
It's been a long year of being alone in the house, that's all.
Had a lot of time to talk to a lot of crows. Doing good work. Doing the crows work.
Anyway, yes, All Might gets recognized. That was a great moment. Todoroki freezes all this water. Bakugo has got a gauntlet and he's kapowing all over the place to kick these people's butts. It was a really cool little fight scene, I think. Todoroki got to use his flash fire. Oh my god, I wrote it down.
Flash freeze heat wave.
Yes, flash freeze heat wave. Okay. One, can you shorten that name a little bit? Like, that's kind of a little bit too long, I think, personally. Flash freeze heat wave.
It's 4 syllables.
Flash freeze heat wave.
Yeah, 4 syllables. Right. I've been yelling Kamehameha since I was 4, so.
That's true.
Yep.
I keep hearing the crows now, and now I'm self-conscious about them.
All I can hear is the crows. It's fucking ridiculous. The murder of crows, they gotta go next time we record.
Well, the episode's almost done, so at least there's that. Basically, they saved the day, right? And this little purple hero, like we said before, Slide and Go, he shows up and he's like, to Bakugo, he's like, yo, you're that crazy kid from UA. And I was like, hell yeah, he is. Okay.
I saw you on the news.
Yeah, I'm sure. With a muzzle at the sports festival, all kinds of stuff. And this is the thing I wanted to mention, is that earlier in the episode, when they're all in the common room and Kaminari is mentioning that he got his license and Todoroki and Bakugo didn't, there's a news article going on.
And it says Kelly's raising a murder of fucking crows that won't shut the fuck up outside her window. Also,
he mentioned them.
Detnerat enters the hero support business.
Yes. So we get to see some news about a company who is now doing hero support gear. And then at the end of this episode, the bad guys had these like gauntlets, and after kind of getting a little damaged, they basically just fall apart into nothing. And he's like, oh yeah, that was because they bought this gear off the black market. And I just wanted to bring it up so that people kind of know that they are mentioning hero gear twice in this episode, and I think that that is maybe pretty significant about some of the things that are happening in the world outside of UA High.
And like we said, this episode 100, for everything that led up from 89 to 100 and so much repetitive, same kind of fishbowl, we're fighting in a classroom bullshit. This episode does a really good job of zooming back out and looking at the world writ large and like reminding us of certain plot points that we've already been exposed to, but also planting some seeds for some future ones potentially. The one with Aizawa and his lady friend is one for sure, but Detnerat, I think is how we're saying. It's spelled Detnerat.
Yeah, I don't really understand how to pronounce that.
I'm going with Detnerat.
Okay.
Detnerat. And then to have the villains' support gear from the black market explode at the end of an ass whooping from a couple of high schoolers, and then to make a mention of it, they want you to be aware that something's happening here.
Keep that in mind. Like, something's going on with some support gear for villains.
So maybe. Heroes that use a lot of support gear.
Anyone? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Yeah, me either, really.
That doesn't mean that people don't. I feel like a lot of heroes maybe have it so embedded in their costumes that you kind of can't tell. They're not always going to be like Bakugo's, who has those huge gauntlets. You know what I mean? Could be subtle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just wonder if like, I guess I just wonder like, what are the actual intentions of a company like Detnerat? Like, are they entering the hero support business to do good things or bad things? And you know, like, because I'd have to imagine they're not the ones that sold this bad equipment to the villains, but maybe they are. Like,
yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of even just brings up the fact that there is a black market where these things are like being traded and sold amongst villains or even amongst regular people. It doesn't have to necessarily be villains buying nefarious goods.
That's a good point. I don't know if we've ever had a reference to a black market in My Hero to this point. Maybe
I do think they vaguely mention it when they're first making those bullets that can take people's powers, remember?
Oh, yeah, when the Shia Saikai have the quirk erasing bullets. Good point.
Yes, but that's the only time they ever bring it up, so...
I wonder if that's a way to... Well, no, because overhaul. Not overhaul, that's some Farmer Kyle shit coming through. Overhaul is handless in a jail right now, so He probably has nothing to do with it.
I don't think so. Yeah. He's
Too
probably
bad.
really bored.
Wish you still had your hands, bruh.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
I
Anyway.
can't.
No, me either. I cannot imagine. That's basically the end of this episode. Bakugo and Todoroki head back to the common room, and everyone had been waiting for them to surprise them with like some cake and just to have a party and say congratulations for passing, which was super cute.
What I love about the surprise, though, is that it was also a surprise for us. They give us the end credits, and then before the preview, they get back and they're like, "Oh, it's dark in here. Maybe everybody went out. Surprise!" And it warmed my heart.
Me too. I loved it. I was like, what a nice way to end the episode. Okay, but then the preview for this next episode.
Are we going back to hate boners next week?
Crazy. I'm like, what is this? So the next episode is literally called Have a Merry Christmas. All right, it's July almost. No, it's June.
I was gonna say, AKA Christmas in July in June. It's actually exactly what I wrote down on this piece of paper.
Christmas in July. I'm like, what is this?
Christmas in July in June.
We're on very opposite schedules currently. It's like the end of the second semester, and they're having a holiday party. And like right when I was thinking to myself, like, oh, okay, they saved the crappy filler episode for the next one. They kind of save it, and they're like, little do you know, something nefarious is happening during this party. So something's going on in the backgrounds.
So it'll be like half filler next week and half like, hey, here's some important seeds for the next big plot point or the next big story or arc or whatever.
It definitely seems like all the kids are going to be having a holiday party, and pro heroes and teachers sort of have something kind of going on, because we saw a couple pro heroes and we saw the teachers, so who knows?
Seems like they're having an emergency meeting while the kids all sit around dressed as Santa Claus. Why does everybody get dressed as Santa Claus at that party?
No, it was very confusing. How do they even all have that kind of stuff? I don't own a single thing like that.
They probably went to the Christmas store.
Yeah.
And they all got Santa Claus suits together.
Gear? Did we see if Bakugo was wearing any? I bet he's not.
No, I don't think I saw that in the preview. I would be very hard pressed to think he would actually participate in the dress up.
It will make my Christmas if he's wearing an ugly Christmas sweater or if he's wearing a Santa suit. I will just die, and it'll make me happy for the rest of the year.
I could definitely picture him in an ugly Christmas sweater, but it has like a ugly like embroidered skull on it or something, and like plaid or something.
I can picture Kirishima kind of like forcing him into it, and him kind of just being like, yeah, I guess, because it's his boyfriend.
In the movie, don't they like, I can't remember which one picks the outfit out for the other, but in the first movie, I think Kirishima picks out like a suit for Bakugo to wear to whatever event they're going to.
They look so cute.
Yeah, they look great as hell. But you know why? It's because the more fashionable of the two boyfriends picked out the suit for the other boyfriend. Spoiler alert, the more fashionable one is Kirishima.
Wow, that's kind of surprising because Bakugo's dad works in the fashion industry.
Good point. Maybe it's Bakugo picking out clothes for his boyfriend, Kirishima.
Maybe he's secretly really stylish. But then he wears those weird clothes. I don't know.
We talked about it. It would explain why he ended up choosing Best Jeanist, because he secretly wants to work in the textile industry.
That could be totally true. Well,
I'm
excited to have a Merry Christmas next week.
Yeah, man. Christmas in July and June is going to be a ball.
Yeah.
I wish we had like some Christmas gifts. What do we do for Christmas next week? What do we do? Should we make a Christmas themed episode?
Should we wear ugly sweaters?
Holy shit, Kelly.
That would be so fun.
If you do come to record in person next week, we've yet to do this, but I do have a Christmas gift for you still, so it would be super appropriate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Is it going to be really hot? Because like I said, if it's going to be really hot, I don't think I want to like sweat
We reserve
together.
the right to cancel that for sure. Next Monday, it's looking like 82 and sunny, so
that's
maybe
not terrible.
I mean,
we'll see.
I'll let the AC run all day, but if not, I can present you your Christmas gifts on webcam.
Oh my gosh, maybe we could play Christmas music. We can have a nice little holiday party.
You know what's great about Christmas music is that most of it is in the public domain, so I could totally drop it in here. Not that stops me from dropping in the My Hero Academia theme song every once in a while at the beginning and end of each episode. but it's performed by me, so I'm kind of skirting the rules there.
I think that is a loophole and you are using it to the fullest.
You publish Haikyuu on Anchor, right?
No, I use Buzzsprout.
Oh, you're a Buzzsprout kid.
I literally, when I first wanted to make a podcast, this was my idea. Is I was like, I want to make a podcast. I listened to a podcast called How to Make a Podcast. It was by Buzzsprout. So I was like, cool, I can just literally follow these exact steps. And I did. And that's that.
Yeah, I've set up a couple of things on Buzzsprout, but I've never used it for my own personal stuff. But
It's really easy.
the reason I ask is because Anchor has this thing now where you can like use any music on Spotify in your show 100% legally. Like you have to like pay for the extra in the plan or whatever, but it gives you like if you wanted to do a music show now where you like pick your 5 favorite fucking Kelly Trash taste tracks or whatever.
This is very intriguing.
Oh shit. Did I just help you come up with a new idea for a pod?
I think I have excellent garbage taste in music, and I want to share the songs I like to everyone. Like, I was listening to something when we first logged on here, Kyle, and what did you think of that song?
First of all, your camera wasn't on. All I heard was the audio, and it seemed like a bop, but not a bop I would expect you to bop to.
The song's called Batman, and it goes, I can't be your Batman because I be Robin. Because he's like robbing people.
Oh, instead of the bird Robin, it's like a homophone, right?
Yes, homophone? I was going to say homophone, but that sounds like homophobic, and I'm not that, so.
I'm pretty sure it's homophone.
Homophone.
Maybe it is homophone, and I've been saying it wrong all along because I'm accidentally homophobic.
Oh, are you? We can't
My
be
best
friends.
friend since I was 11 years old is Carlton. He's the gayest person I've ever had the pleasure of hanging out with. I don't think I'm homophobic.
Kyle, we can't chill anymore. It's Gay Pride Month. How dare you say you're homophobic?
And I've been nothing but mean to Carlton this month, which I think reinforces how much of an ally I am.
Gotta treat everybody the same.
Well, I can't possibly be meaner to anybody but Carlton because I know him so well.
Very true.
And the things that I'm mean to him about have absolutely nothing to do with him being a gay person. It's more about how he's a fucking selfish dickhead. I said that with a lot of
love?
No.
Affection?
No. I said that with a lot of purpose. Like I meant those words. That's
you did.
Anyway, the fact that he just likes to suck a bunch of dick to keep himself preoccupied has nothing to do with me being homophobic. It has everything to do with him being a shitty goddamn friend. I'll see you for the Super Android 13 movie, Carlton, you fuck.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're doing a Dragon Ball movie thing now for the rest of the year. I like hit a big manic thing last week. I just been planning a lot of things, doing a lot of work. Discord. Hey, if you guys like Discord, there's a super dope Discord server. And there is a My Hero Academia channel set up specifically for us to chat and talk shit and share memes. So
nice.
I don't think you use Discord, Kelly, but
no. I didn't know about this. This is a very nice news.
we just had it set up the other day.
Awesome.
So links are in the show notes. If you want to join the Discord server, click on that, join, come talk shit. We're doing watch-alongs for the Dragon Ball movies. I think every Sunday going forward for the next eternity, because there's 20 of those fucking movies. So
wow, that's a lot of movies.
Oh yes, it's gonna be a good time. Anyway, Carlton, I hate you. I love you so much. Not homophobic. It's definitely homophone. Birthdays. We have no birthdays this week, but as you mentioned earlier, it was shit.
Don't ask me.
Yoshinori Tagi. Is it Tagi Yoshinori? Yoshinori Tagi? I gotta check.
I'm a terrible
it's Yagi it's Yagi Toshinori. Toshinori is Israel.
Toshinori. I was gonna say I'm a terrible fan. I have no idea.
Yeah. Usually I'm pretty good with the names, but usually that name too. Like I know that one. I don't know why it just got away from me like that. Anyway, Yagi Toshinori's birthday last week, All Might on June 10th. We did just pass by Kaibara's birthday on the 12th. That's the gyrate drill man. Makes every part of his body spin. Know what I'm saying? And talk about his dick. And then the 16th is couple of days from now, Hagakure's birthday. So
Hagakure.
no birthdays as of today, so we're not going to be doing any crazy in-depth birthday things. Quick review that I got for you. If you want to leave us a review, Apple Podcasts, man, that's really what it's about. If you can leave us a review on Apple Podcast, guess what? I owe you one. Okay.
I will sick my crows on anyone who doesn't leave us a podcast review.
Shit,
I
son.
don't know how I'll know, but
She got to murder those motherfuckers. Don't mess around. Super dope, 5 stars. JDF 25K 2K5. I have been a listener since Dragon Ball Super Dope days, and I am so happy you guys decided to start your own feed for MHA. Keep up the great work. Super dope. Take a cue from me with that one. Super dope.
nice.
Plus ultra. Lots of A's on the end as well. So
Yes,
thank you
you read it
for
perfectly.
the review. 5 stars. Very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, Apple Podcast reviews are worth their weight in gold for podcasters. So if
Yes,
you,
please.
even if you don't listen on that app, just open that bitch up right now and do it anyway, because
You got it on your phone, bro.
if you're listening to this podcast and you don't do it and you have the option to do it and you still come back and listen each week, yeah, you're somebody I like. Ask yourself that question.
Are you going to get a Christmas present next week? I don't think so.
Not unless the Christmas present is a fucking murder of crows and knocking on your goddamn door saying, bitch, you owe me an Apple Pod review.
Oh my gosh, for Christmas for us. As gifts to us for Christmas.
Oh,
Give us some
shit.
reviews.
Kelly, good idea. Now that we've waited
Right?
till the end of this episode, I mean, honestly, though, statistically speaking, the people who are most likely to leave reviews would listen to the end of the episode. So, what's up, bitch? I want a Christmas gift in the form
Yeah,
of an
I do.
Apple Podcast review. Otherwise, if you don't do it, otherwise, Kelly will kill you with her crows.
Eventually, they still need a lot of training.
And she has to continue to accumulate her murder of them.
How many do you need for them to be a murder?
How many crows do you need to murder somebody?
Did I think 3?
I was going to say 3. All right. So
Yeah.
you definitely have at least one outside your window waiting to be
There's
heard.
2.
There's 2.
Yes.
So
I think
one more
they're the
crow.
scouts.
One
Yeah.
more crow. And
I'm
we
in
can start
business.
we can start leveraging the power of those crows against people who refuse to act on giving us positive reviews on Apple Podcasts.
I
all
feel like that
coming
would be
together.
such a cool superpower. Just control crows. Kind of
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Have you ever watched the movie The Crow
No.
with Brandon Lee,
No.
where he famously died on set while shooting?
No. What? No.
Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, was making an action movie. I want to say it was 92 it came out. But
He died while he was shooting the film?
it's called The Crow, and it's about a guy who him and his girlfriend get, I don't know if they get kidnapped or robbed or whatever, but it goes wrong and they rape his girlfriend and they kill him. And then like a couple years later, he comes back from the dead on the spirit of a crow to like take his vengeance or whatever. It's based on a comic book from the 80s.
Okay.
Real fucked up. You don't really need to know, the science behind it or whatever, because dude came back to life by way
The
of
science. Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, the science of the vengeance of a crow, of a spirit.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, Brandon Lee was shooting an action sequence in this movie, and the story goes that like the ballistics expert on set that day like
He
went
was
home.
shot?
Yeah, he like went home early because they were trying to save money. I think they were overproduction on like in terms of costs. So like to save money one day, they'd send people home early. They sent the ballistic guy early one day, sent him home, and they thought the gun was full of blanks, and it wasn't. And the actor who shot him was like all probably still is fucked up. Did
How do
he
you
die?
ever not? And then they still put the movie out? You can still watch it? That is so crazy.
Yep, they finished the movie with some creative stunt double placement, basically.
How do you keep filming?
I mean, thankfully, not thankfully, because the dude lost his life, but it was toward like the very end of the film.
Is that scene in there?
The one where he dies?
Where he gets shot?
No.
So they had to recreate the shooting scene. How do you even fire that gun
Or they
again?
could have used like an earlier take or something. I don't know what they did, but
Yo,
yeah,
that's kind of fucked up.
it's pretty fucked up. But again, like they were over budget. You know, Hollywood's got to make those dollars. So
Oh, right. Now that you've reminded me that they were over budget, it does make a lot more sense.
totally justified now, right?
Yeah, totally justified. Oh my God.
Allegedly, the footage was destroyed.
I doubt it.
It wasn't destroyed.
Somebody has that, yeah.
Yes, people who worked on the movie have confirmed that footage still exists, and I don't know who has it, like a DP or something, but somebody has that shit. Anyway, that's your history lesson about The Crow. If you're gonna get into the Crow game, you might want to brush up. You know what I'm saying?
Now I feel like they're bad luck. You gave me like a weird vibe.
They're called a murder of crows for a reason.
I love murder, so.
With that said, that's going to do it for Super Dope Plus Ultra this week. Leave us a review or Kelly will murder your ass with some birds. How the fuck's the song gonna? Raise my hand with a peace sign. Kelly will murder your dumb ass. Murder of crows.
Oh, sorry.
Murder of crows is a way better way to end it.
It is actually. That was
Murder
cool.
of crows.
It works so well.
Bam.
Bam. Do you say crow or do you say raven? Are they the same thing?
I don't think they are.
They're different.
Maybe. You should know this. You're the crow expert, dude.
I just feed them. Like, I just want them to like me.
Well, it's working. They're hanging outside your goddamn window.
They are, yeah. It's pretty new. It's been like the last week. They're actually louder than I was expecting. Maybe this is a bad idea.
It's a terrible idea. You're feeding fucking mean birds.
They're not mean. They're really nice. Kinda. They just look mean.
Goodbye.
Bye.